this evening we shall discuss about right understanding of karma, or karma samadhi, or karma sankata jnana, or the knowledge of one's responsibility for one's own actions. It's because such knowledge is a foreigner's in the practice of the Noble Eightfold Path, and to develop the wholesome mental states. If one doesn't endow with such true knowledge, one may not put forth effort to cultivate wholesome mental states, or whatever that is wholesome and the Noble Eightfold Path. So it's important to contemplate that one is the owner of one's own karma. Karma here means volitional actions or intentional actions. So my karma, past and present, is my only property. Karma is my heritage. In other words, one shall inherit whatever action one has done. Karma is the only cause of my being, and karma is my relatives or relations, and karma is my refuge or my protection. So it's important to understand the teaching of karma and its results. When meditators could observe the intention or wanting to do something well, then they come to realize the relationship between the intention and the process of movements, or the mental volition of wanting to do something, and the actions. And the meditators could realize the relationship between the objects or the phenomena and the mind or the awareness, then one will realize in this world there's only cause and effect. So in the teachings of the Buddha, there's a discourse about 4 kinds of karma. So karma is defined as cetana, or in other words, cetana is karma. Volition is karma. The word volition means one has the power to choose one's actions. There's a karma. You have the power, or you have the will to choose your actions. So this is known as karma. So there are 4 kinds of karma. dark karma with dark results, bright karma with bright results, karma that is dark and bright with dark and bright results. And the fourth karma that is neither dark nor bright, with neither dark nor bright results, which leads to the destructions of karma. So the teaching of karma is very important. So what was dark karma with dark results? Dark karma are those actions that cause pain or suffering or distress to others. So this is known as afflictive volitional formation. As you know, there are three types of karma. One is done through the mind, mental karma. One is done through the speech or verbal karma. The other is done through the body or bodily karma. And each karma can be classified into two. One is afflictive volitional formation. The other is unafflictive volitional formations. Formation here means sankhara. I have explained in one of the previous talk. Sankhara means, for example, in the teaching of dependent origination, dependent on ignorance arising sankhara. So sankhara here refers to three kinds of formations: mental formation, verbal formation, and body formation. It's because of past formation then arises consciousness, rebirth consciousness in this life. It means a being takes birth again because of a past sankhara or formations. Then in the five aggregates, there's an aggregate of formation, sankhara khanda. So here sankhara consists of sankhara khanda, aggregate formation consists of 50 cetasikas or mental associates or mental concomitants. And sometimes we say all formations are impermanent. Here sankhara means conditioned phenomena. In the words, mental and physical phenomena. So one generates an afflictive volitional formation of body, speech, or mind. So this is known as dark karma. So how does one know one's karma is dark karma or bright karma? Then you need to examine your own mind, your intention or volition of doing an actions. Is this intention or volition is defiled by the three roots of evils? The three roots of evil are greed or lobha, dosa or hatreds, moha delusions. So if the intention or volition is defiled by greed, hatred, and delusions, and that actions causes pain or distress, or a great deal of suffering to other beings, then this is known as dark karma. And one who has committed dark karma will be very remorseful, feeling regrets, and can give rise to fear of the law, or being caught by the law, being punished by the law. Those who have right understanding will become fear of rebirth into the states of loss because of that dark karma. So in this sutta, the Buddha says, having done an afflictive volitional formation, one is born in an afflictive world. So when one is born in an afflictive world, afflictive context touch him. Being touched by afflictive context, one experiences an afflictive feeling, extremely painful. So here you can see that the teaching is explained in terms of dependent originations. As you know, there are 12 links of dependent origination. The first is ignorance. Dependent on ignorance arises formation. Here means karmic formation. Dependent on sankhara or karmic formation arises consciousness. Here consciousness means the rebirth consciousness. So when there's arising of this rebirth consciousness, dependent on this consciousness arises mentality and physicality. So dependent on this mentality and physicality arises this sixth sense basis. In other words, the sixth sense door. So when you have sixth sense door, then there will be six contacts. That means there's a contact through your eyes, contact through your ears, the nose, the tongue, the body, and the mind. So contact, dependent on contact arises feeling. So if the contact is painful, then one will experience painful feeling. So as you know, you come to contact with the external world through your, especially through your five sense door, or the eyes, the ears, the nose, the tongue, and the body. If the contact is painful, then the feeling is not pleasant. So if you wish to avoid painful contact, then you should abstain or restraining yourself from committing dark karma. So dark karma refers to 10 kinds of unwholesome karma. You might know about these 10 kinds of unwholesome karma. 3 physical unwholesome actions, 4 unwholesome verbal actions, and 3 kinds of unwholesome mental actions. The 3 kinds of unwholesome or evil physical actions are killing or telling lies, misconduct in sensual pleasures, or sexual misconduct. The 4 kinds of unwholesome verbal actions are telling lies. The second is divisive speech, or speech that cause disharmony between 2 good friends or 2 groups of people. The third is harsh speech. The fourth is idle chatters or gossips. So these unwholesome physical actions, unwholesome verbal action produce painful results. No one like these actions. And the mind also can create unwholesome karma. The first is the thoughts of ill will. That means there's a thoughts of ill will, such as wishing harm or cursing in the mind. For example, may this person be killed or in an accident, and so on. Then the second unwholesome mental action is known as covetous. In other words, due to greed, there's a rising of unwholesome desire or longing for what belongs to others. And the third unwholesome mental actions is wrong view. What is this wrong view? For example, there's nothing given, nothing offered, nothing sacrificed. In other words, there's no fruits of giving or sharing with others. Then the second wrong view, no result of good and bad actions. And the third, know this world, no other world. In the words, one doesn't believe that there's a rebirth, either into this world or world beyond. So this is due to one of the extreme wrong views, the view of an annihilationist. In Pali, it's known as Uceta Ditti. In other words, one who holds such wrong view, the view of an annihilationist, believe that there's only one life. At the end of this life, all the mind body will be subject to dissolution or destruction. There's no more birth. So one who holds such wrong view, ucedaditi, could commit more evils, thinking that after passing away, one will not face the consequences of their evils anymore. Then another wrong view is no mother, no father. In other words, there's no fruits of good conduct and bad conduct towards mother and father. And another wrong view is no beings who are reborn spontaneously, such as Deva. Deva, due to the results, the wholesome results ripening, for example, at the moment of passing away from this human birth, they will be born as a Deva instantly. No good and virtuous Brahmins and recluses in the world who have themselves realized by direct knowledge and declare this world and other world. Here, good and virtuous Brahmins refer to the Buddha as well as Arahant. So, wrong view definitely will leads to wrong actions or evil actions. And this wrong view is also due to the view of nihilism. Nihilism means the belief that nothing has any value, especially that religious and moral principles have no value. So it's because of this dark karma. So that's why one is born in an afflicted world. So when one is born in an afflicted world, definitely the contact is painful. So that painful contact gives rise to painful feeling. For example, those beings who are born in hell will experience painful contacts all the time. Then, what is bright karma with bright results? So bright karma is known as unafflictive volitional formation of body, speech, and mind. So in other words, one abstain from these 10 kinds of unwholesome karma. At the same time, one also put forth effort to do or to perform wholesome karma, such as the dana, or the practice of generosity, sila, observance of morality, bhavana, mental culture, mental training. The fourth wholesome karma is respect, or respects one's teachers, elders. The fifth is giving service, volunteering oneself, or to give service to the poor, to the needy. And the next is sharing of merits with others. And number 7, rejoicing over the merits done by others. So it's important to rejoice over the merits of others. And the next is hearing the teachings of the Enlightened One in order to gain wisdoms. The second last is teaching the Dhamma or sharing the knowledge of Dhamma with others. So, as you know, the gift of Dhamma excels other gifts. And the last wholesome meritorious actions or wholesome karma is strengthening one's will. It means one has to put forth effort to overcome a wrong view. So if one has been doing unafflictive volitional formation, then definitely one will be born in the unafflictive world. So when one's born in unafflictive world, then there's only unafflictive context touch one. In other words, the context is very present. So being touched by this present context, one experiences present feeling, such as being born in a deva. Then the third type of karma, dark and bright karma with dark and bright results. In other words, there are beings who generate both kinds of volitional formation, afflictive volitional formation and unafflictive volitional formation through the body, speech or mind. So when they have done both types of volitional formation, then they will be born in a world where both afflictive and unafflictive context touch one. In other words, one, you experience two types of context: painful contact and pleasant context. So one shall experience two kinds of feeling: painful feeling and pleasant feeling. So just like our life, we experience two kinds of feelings. Sometimes we experience painful feeling, sometimes we experience pleasant feelings. So our feelings depends very much on our karma. So it's important to be mindful of your intention or wanting to do an action. So in this practice of mindfulness meditation, Vipassana meditation, meditators need to train themselves to be aware or to be mindful of the intention or the wanting of doing something. You will have the habit of mindful of your mind, in other words, the intention of wanting. Then you shall become very much aware of your intention or wanting to do something in your daily life. Then you shall be able to detect or realize your intention is arising out of greed, hatred or delusion, or the intention is due to feeling of loving kindness, compassion, wisdom. So in this practice of mindfulness meditation, meditators have to train themselves to mindful and note the intention and the wanting. But if the mindfulness and concentration are not yet strong enough, meditators could not perceive the intention clearly. Every process of movements is preceded by intention. For example, when you wish to lift the foot during walking, that lifting is preceded by intention. When you wish to push the foot forward, the pushing movements is preceded by intention. The process of dropping is also preceded by intention. But as long as the mindfulness is not sharp enough, it's difficult to see the intention clearly. Sometimes meditators could not perceive the intention. So if meditators could not perceive the intention, then they should not make any mental noting. We can make mental noting because we perceive the arising of the intention. Then we can note it. But sometimes intention, which is a mental process, arising and passing away very instantly, meditators merely be aware there's intention, then the process of movements happening or arising very instantly, then they may not be able to make a mental noting on that intention. So they merely be aware there's intention, then immediately there's a process movements happening, then they should be mindful of that movements and know it when it's possible. But sometimes the intention is preceded by another intending mind. Here in the practice, we may use another label. There's wanting. So intention and wanting are mental processes. They are arising by themselves and also subject to passing away. There's no self or person or yogi behind this intention. That intention and wanting are mental processes. So sometimes meditators could realize the wanting mind, which is clearer than the intention. For example, at the end of walking meditation, there's a thought arising, like wanting to go back to the sitting. There's intention, but here we know it as wanting. If meditators could walk slowly, then they may be able to perceive there's intention, lifting, pushing, dropping, then intention, lifting, pushing, dropping, and so on. If the mindfulness is very clear, they could perceive that every process intention is preceded by the intending mind. Then reaching the place of sitting, meditators be mindful and note standing a few times, at least 5 times or nearly 10 times. Then sometimes meditators realize there's an intention to sit down, or intending sitting down, and so on. So here, because of this wanting mind arising, then it gives rise to a series of intention. There are process movements, the intention, and another movements, another process movements. At the end of sitting meditation, definitely there's a thought arising, wanting to stop, or wanting to stand up. So when there's this wanting mind arising, meditators note one thing. Then if meditators could move slowly, they may realize that there's intention to open the eyes, intention opening, or then there's intention to put down one of the hands, intending lifting, and so on. So if meditators could slow down, they could see the intention. If they could not see the intention, they should be more train themselves to catch the wanting mind. That's very clear. Sometimes there's wanting arising to drink some water. There's wanting. When meditators could mindful of wanting intention, they could feel that the mind becomes more focused. Becoming more focused at the present moment. In other words, could realize instantly an actions going to take place, or process of movements is going to take place. But if meditators could not perceive the wanting or intention naturally, they should not search for it or wait for it to arise. Actually, there's intention wanting arising before the actions or the movements. But sometimes meditators could not perceive it. They need not have to wait for it or search for it. They just move naturally. When meditators could note the process of movements more precisely, then they could see the intention clearly. So we do not search for the object or look for something in this practice of mindfulness. Then the fourth kind of karma, which is very important. If anyone aspires or determines to be free from samsara, or samsara means the cycle of birth and death, or again. So the fourth kind of karma is known as neither dark nor bright, with neither dark nor bright results, which leads to the destruction of karma. So what's this type of karma? Only by the practice of the Noble Eightfold Path, or the cultivation of 7 factors of enlightenment, then one could realize such karma. Karma that's neither dark nor bright, with neither dark nor bright results, which leads to the destruction of karma. So only by the practice of Noble Eightfold Path. When you are practicing mindfulness, which is one of the factors of the Noble Eightfold Path, you are in fact putting effort to develop the Noble Eightfold Path, or the middle path. But at the beginning of practice, your mindfulness is not strong. Concentration is not deep enough, so you could not attain such path. You cannot attain destruction of karma. So in other words, there are two types of path. One is known as mundane path. The other is known as supra-mundane path. What you are practicing now is known as mundane path, because you have not yet attained the path knowledge. Path knowledge is known as Mahāyana. The path knowledge has the ability or the power to uproot the mental defilements completely. So, as far as we have not yet attained the supra-mundane path, what we are practicing now is known as mundane path. It's known as mundane path because the practice is not stable. The practice could be overwhelmed or overpowered by mental defilements and hindrances. So only the noble ones are practicing the supra-mundane path. So if one has attained the path knowledge, then there's a volition arising with the path consciousness. That volition is to abandon the dark karma with dark results, to abandon the bright karma with bright results, and to abandon the dark and bright karma with dark and bright results, and reach to the destructions of karma. So, in other words, only one who has attained all the 4 stages of path knowledge, one will abandon the other 3 kinds of karma completely. In other words, the noble one, Arahants, or Pachika Buddha, Sammasambuddha, have attained cessation of karma. They will not create any more karma that will produce the results of rebirth. So this is our aim or our goal of practicing mindfulness, which is one of the factors of the path. So if one doesn't put forth effort to develop Noble Eightfold Path, even though one could abstain from dark karma, and one is doing all kinds of bright karma, but one doesn't put forth effort to develop the Noble Eightfold Path, then one will subject to rebirth again and again. So it's important to contemplate that one is the owner of one's own karma, and the most important karma that you should be doing is the practice of Noble Eightfold Path. So one who understands the teaching of karma well, one will come to realize that one should take responsibilities of one's actions. So karma, one's the owners of one's karma, one shall inherit the result of the karma. Karma is the cause of one's being. In this, one's origin is a karma. It's because of good karma, that's why you take birth as a human again. And karma is my relations or relative. In other words, our relationship with our own karma is very intimate. We cannot cut off the ties as long as we are not enlightened. And the most meaningful in the contemplation of karma is that karma is the only refuge, is the only refuge for me, or the only protection. If you will always abstain or avoid dark karma, doing bright karma, practicing the Noble Eightfold Path, then you do not have to look for external refuge or protections. Those who do not understand the teaching will be seeking refuge or external. But in the teaching of Buddha, the Buddha said, karma is your refuge, is your protections. So only one who has this right understanding or true knowledge, one who put forth effort to do good, and especially to develop the Noble Eightfold Path. One will not rely on external for refuge, for protections. So that's why one who understands the karma will not become pessimist. Karma is not fate or determinism. Sometimes one thinks karma is something which is predetermined by a lot or creators and so on. But karma is your karma is something that you can decide, you can choose. There's a meaning of volition. You have the power or the will to choose your own actions. So it's important to be endowed with this true knowledge or right understanding, or Kamma Sakata Samadhiti, or Kamma Sakata Yana.